Welcome, everyone. We are back, and today on Tech Time, we are talking about customer service. We've all had a customer that maybe was upset, or a neighbor that was upset, or on the other side of that, an opportunity that we had to go the extra mile and really take care of our customer. And Parker and Joe have a ton of experience in this. Guys, what do you want people to take away from today's episode?
Uh, my biggest takeaway would probably be especially when it comes to customer service, is it's all about your attitude. It's about how you kind of present yourself. So if you have the attitude of like I'm here to help, and especially if they're angry, it takes the wind right out of their sails. So just try to not view yourself as when I go to a person's property, I'm not Parker. I'm Parker with Mosquito Shield. Like I'm representing myself through that lens, because I know it blows back on the business. So um, have that attitude of like I'm here to help, and I want to listen to what you have to say, and I'm not your enemy. Like I'm here to help.
Yeah, I would say number one, customer service builds trust. You know, it drives loyalty in a way that basically protects the brand. But besides that, and a big point here, besides that, it turns potential customers into advocates. And these people fight for us. They can go from being angry one day to being your biggest fan. It's just kind of how you approach it.
Yeah, I think the way that we interact with folks is to Parker's point, it's a reflection of both us and the company. And even when someone might be upset, it's an opportunity to turn someone and to show people how we take care of people. I look at customer service in a few lenses. I think that there are these specific areas where it's like this person's upset or we went the extra mile here. But there's also just like general best practices that you can go out and do. One for me is just vocal intonation, right? If I'm always just low and like, yeah, hey, my name's Jeff, I'm your technician versus like, hey, I'm Jeff, I'm really excited to spray your property. Like the first impression that we have is the way we speak and shaking someone's hand and talking to them. What do you guys think are some other pieces of customer service that will just get you started off on the right foot?
Yeah, like active listening, like really trying to pay attention to what they're saying, especially if it's that for that first initial walkthrough. They'll give you, like, they know their yard way better than you ever will, and so they'll give you clues on like what areas you need to focus on, areas that you wouldn't even think to hit, because it's like tucked away somewhere. So pay attention to what they're saying. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to someone and they've given me information that I didn't even think to ask about because I asked them something else, and I'm like, oh, that's actually really good to know. And that also helps you have that question later on if you bump into another customer and you're like, oh, I can ask them this now. So pay attention to what they're saying. It can give you a lot of clues into what's going on in the yard, even if you're not necessarily looking for that information.
Yeah, I would say, besides actually talking to your customer, which you should be doing, obviously if they're home, talk to neighbors, kind of get out of your comfort zone and talk to people that may not be your customer, but you see they have open windows. You see that their kids are playing outside. I get it. When you have a lot of jobs, you're just trying to get through it. You are, but that's what this is all about. You have take a little bit of time, take an extra 2 minutes, walk over to the customer's house or the neighbor's house, I should say. You see their windows open, you see the drift coming this way. Ask them if they want to shut their windows. It's so simple, and they honestly respect the hell out of that. A lot of companies don't do it, and they'll tell you that. So kind of set yourself apart and kind of just view it. The best way to do it is view it as, it's you. Would you want your windows open if my neighbor was getting sprayed? No, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed too. And even if I know what they're using, it's just kind of out of respect. So try to respect everybody, view it that way. Take the time. It's so worth it. You're going to avoid confrontations if you do it. You may not always, but you'll eliminate about 90% of them. So just take a little extra
Yeah.
time.
And those are always things that dwell, right? We've all had a bad experience and they tend to sit in our mind, right? And sometimes we're just having a bad day. It's just a
Uh,
shitty day out there. Yeah, maybe you've been having backpack problems. Maybe you had an angry customer. Like sometimes the best thing to do is like just sit back and smile. And like that change in that physical part of you makes you a happier person. And I think kind of what I've heard from everyone here is like take a genuine, interesting concern in the people that are around you. Like be a good neighbor, be connected, treat them the way that you'd want to be treated. Like it sounds simple. Some days it's so hard because you're just like it feels like the world is against you that you have to be the one to turn that around. Yeah. So Parker, I'd love to hear more. Like, what does a first time walkthrough look like in terms of great customer service?
Yeah, yeah. You go up to the front door, you knock, ring the doorbell, take a step back. You don't want to be up in their face. Let them step into it. Ask them, introduce yourself, ask them how they're doing, see if they have any questions or concerns with you before you get started. It gives you a chance to kind of like pick their brain. I think it was the first episode we did where it was like common questions to ask them. That's where you can bring up questions about like, where the mosquito activity, where you guys spend your time, ask them if they want to show you around because again they know the property better than you ever will, and they can point out where their kids are hanging out, where you can really emphasize the treatments. You're not having to spray the whole thing. You can really, I mean, you still want to do the whole thing, but you can really focus in on where it really needs to get done, so you can save yourself some trouble later on. And then anything they say again, like again, pay attention to that and add it to Pokemon. So let the office know so they can get those notes added for yourself next time or the next technician that goes out there. All those little details that you picked up on that interaction can really make or break some treatment sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe, like you've seen a ton of customers throughout your days. Like, what does customer service look like ongoing, like as an everyday app, not just on the first service?
That's a good one. I would say you have to read those notes. It's the little details that make a huge difference. If they ask you to knock on the door, and I guess if we back up, I would say the easiest thing is don't be a dick. Read the notes, respect your customers. If they tell you to do something, do it. If it's a call ahead, call them. If you forget, what you can do is you can get out of the van, knock on the door, and tell them, hey, do you need a couple minutes? I missed this. I was right next door. I didn't realize, there's so many different things you can do. But again, it's going to take a little bit of extra time. And we're not asking for 5 minutes. You know, you can even call them. We have guys that call them from the van, but respect the notes, read the notes, and do what they tell you. If they tell you not to walk on something, don't. If they tell you not to spray something, use indicator flags. We use purple flags, for a lot of guys that don't know what veggies are, um, or what fruit trees or anything like that. So that's the number one thing is basically don't be a dick. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
If I can add to that real quick too, is like also reread notes. Like if you go to and you're because you're going to stops regularly, like you'll get to the point where like the note and but sometimes they get edited or things get added to it, and so always reread that note just in case anything changed. Sometimes things get taken away or again added to it. So I again the job is very repetitive and you get into a rhythm of it, but always like you said, Joe, just keep checking those notes, especially if it's a property you've done before as well. So.
Yeah, and to even add to that, Parker, um, on the Pokemo's app, there is a section when you click on the actual customer to service their property. If you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, there's going to be something that says additional notes. Click on that because in my experience in the past year, we've missed a lot of notes because of this. If the office staff doesn't favorite the note, it may not be on the main screen. So you need to go into those additional notes, read them. They're going to be a lifesaver. So it's something we learned. I hope that helps a couple people out, but don't always just go off the actual notes that pop up. Go into those additional notes and see if there's something new in there.
This is all yeah, great stuff. I love like the prevention, like how do we get ahead of things? What about like just a angry customer, right? deal with the general public. And sometimes they have bad days too. And unfortunately, that makes its way into our life. And it's important to kind of talk through how to handle those things. Where do you guys start there?
That was very difficult for me when I started too, like learning to navigate that because for me it's always like you never see it coming. So it's always catches you off guard. Whether it be a neighbor, like you'll be out spraying, someone walks up behind you, taps you on the shoulder. So when that happens, one, don't take it personally, but also take a step back, take a little breath. Again, active listen to them, what they're saying, let them get it out. A big usually what's going on is they just got to vent it, and so you're just kind of there listening. Again, it's nothing against you. It's they usually have a problem with the service, and you just happen to be the physical manifestation of that. That's right there. So don't take anything personally. Listen to what they have to say. Be compassionate. Kill them with kindness. Have that positive attitude. Is what my best advice for that would be.
Yeah, I can't agree more, Parker. I guess I'll go back to what you said, kind of like when you're at this, when you're at Mosquito Shield, you're Mosquito Shield Parker. You need to learn to change your mindset when it comes to stuff like this and kind of put yourself as them, okay? Basically, some people are pissed off, they have a bad day, and we just add to it. So kind of think of it that way. They may not be bad people or angry, they're just angry at that point, but it's also a really good opportunity to diffuse that. And to go back to, I think other things we've already talked about, we have a lot of neighbors that were complete assholes, screaming at us, coming up like they're gonna punch you almost. Um, all because like they're like back to the windows, their windows were open. They had a 8-foot fence and their kids are outside that you can't see. It's not your fault, but kind of put yourself in their shoes and realize I would probably be mad as well. They're not always bad people, and again, that turns them to good opportunity to turn them into an advocate for this company and what we do.
And I think a big piece of that is when someone's angry or like taking responsibility, and then um, don't overpromise, right? Like it's super important that if now that someone's upset, if you go back to them and be like, I'm going to promise you the world, I'm going to take every drop of product back off your plants. I'm going to put like it's certain things just aren't possible. And setting the right expectations is the right way to do it. If you don't know how to do it, reach out to someone who does. I think is a really, really important piece. I've always classified customers via color. So kind of the system I've used for a long time. I would call a customer either green, yellow, or red. Right? Green is just someone who's ready to go. They're pretty chill. They're easy to work with. Yellow has some questions. Like they trust you, right? They trust you. They like you. And then red is like, whoa, okay, like deep breath. Let's all figure this out together. And my rule is always, green can turn into a yellow and a yellow can turn into a red based off of how we interact with them. We can't control the day that they had, but we can control the way that we respond to it, which is tough. We're like, hey, I didn't do anything. This isn't my fault. But to be Mosquito Shield Parker, Mosquito Shield Joe, sometimes you have to compartmentalize that. So this has been an awesome conversation. Really excited to continue the series. Hopefully you guys are getting stuff out of it. If you have questions for our master technicians, please put it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you and answer your questions. And if not, we will talk to you on the next episode. Thanks, everybody.